currently the alternate to the Board of Adjustment, so I will come up when you move into that action.
Okay. And then you're gonna go away.
Yeah.
Okay. That's much more. All right, thank you.
I think those are from the commission, but there's one on the table if you want. There's a lot of the others.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is 7 o'clock, 7:01. So I'm gonna get things started here, call the meeting to order. This is the Planning Commission and Board of Adjustment meeting. It is Tuesday, March 10th. The first item on the agenda this morning is the roll call, and Dan, do you want to do that?
Sure can.
Thanks.
Commissioner DeBoer. Aye. Commissioner Olson. Here. Commissioner Iverson. Here. Commissioner Plowbush. Commissioner Gross.
Here.
Commissioner Maxwell. Commissioner Barlow.
Here.
Commissioner Wolf.
Here.
Commissioner Olson.
Here.
All right, got them all. And next item is the approval of the minutes from January 13th. We didn't have one last month. So January 13th, and we need a motion and a second on the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor indicate with aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And we'll need approval of the minutes from January 13th, 2026. Board of Adjustment, we'll need a motion and a second on that.
So moved. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor indicate with aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we'll need an approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll need a motion and a second for that.
Move. Second.
All in favor indicate with aye. Opposed, motion carries. All right. Appearances, acknowledgements, correspondence, there is none. You know, there's never been any. Do we even need to have that on there? I can't remember one time I haven't anything in that one.
Take it off, we need it.
I suppose. Old business, planning commission, none. Old business, board of adjustment, none. First two items are gonna be in the board, so, we'll move into the board first. Need a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor indicate with aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Jenny, you ready? All right, this is your one, okay. The first item this morning is a hearing on appeal number 759, Jeff Highland, for a variance application that if granted would allow the applicant to construct a 60-foot by 60-foot addition to the facility with a 5-foot setback at 222 Southwest 4th Street. The property is legally described as Lot 7 in Block 1 of Colburn's addition to Madison, Lake County, South Dakota. And Mr. Highland's here, I see. Do you want to come on up? And good morning.
Good morning.
Looks like your mic's already on, so you don't have to worry about that. First, we're gonna hear from Mr. Haig, and he'll just kind of describe what we're looking at here, and then we'll get back to you. Is that okay?
Okay.
Sounds good, Mr. Haig?
Actually, we're gonna change it up a little bit on you. I'm gonna have Mr. Whitlock handle
Oh,
both
my
of the
gosh.
Board of Adjustment items.
He gets
and
to
then-
talk?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then
bear
I'll
with me.
handle the planning commission.
All right.
Okay, yeah, Mr. Highland's in our presence this morning. He's seeking an approval of variance application that if granted will permit the applicant to construct a 60 by 60 addition to his existing facility with a 5-foot setback. Property is located at 222 Southwest 4th Street. We have received no concerns from the public up to this time that I'm aware of anyway. All property owners within 150 feet have been mailed and noticed by the city. We're also required to have them post signs and notify adjacent property owners before the hearing, and I believe all that was completed. A little bit of commentary on this. Property sits in the light manufacturing zone. The applicant has submitted photos of the proposed area of the addition, and staff has added the approximate location and intended use of the addition on the photos provided. Those would be the ones, basically page 7 through put some notes on there, kind of showing where the proposed addition's going to be, where the proposed retaining wall will be located, what the new addition will be used for, things like that. There's also an aerial image in there showing the location of the addition. I also went through and just did a quick figuring of the lot coverage for this property. The light manufacturing zone allows for 75% lot coverage. When I figured this up with the addition included, we were sitting at about 48% lot coverage. So it more than satisfies that also. And that's about all I have.
So we're just looking at the 5-foot setback. What's a normal setback there?
25.
25. All right, Mr. Highland, morning.
Morning.
What do you have anything to add to that?
I guess he kind of covered it all. I got that full of machines in there right now, and if nothing else, it becomes a safety hazard. So I want to move my saws into that area because I moved machines back into my saw area. So I got saws and machines back in that back part. And so I want to get my saws up there, put some more steel racks in. And I want a 60 by 60 because my bars are 25 foot long. Then you gotta move them with forklift. So, and I'm gonna put a retaining wall out. There's a culvert out there on Blanche. I'm gonna put a retaining wall out there. And the parking lot will go over to Bill Clough's old land, and we'll park over there.
Yeah, there we go. Who owns the property on the other side of Blanche?
To the west,
To the west, yes.
well, I own part of it. And that's where the employee parking lot will come.
Okay, I just noticed a couple of buildings that are directly opposite the northern part of.
That is, what's it, Ditterly.
Oh, okay.
Gary, to answer your question a little bit more, Jeff owns the lot furthest to the south, and then Dennis Dieterle owns basically the next 3 lots to the north, and then the farthest north lot Jay and Lois Nieder own. And those are basically would be all the properties across from his
Gotcha.
shop.
So on page 7, where there's a trailer there, is that the lot we're talking about that he owns?
Say that again, Jim?
On page 7,
Yep.
okay, left of Blanche, there's a trailer on the south, is that the lot that he owns?
Yes, that would be the lot that Jeff owns.
Okay.
And that setback is supposed to be 25 foot from the right of way? I mean,
35.
35,
At 35?
because it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't look like in the drawing it's 5 feet back, but it is.
I'm not sure what.
I mean, it looks like it's a lot farther from the road than that.
Is that red square to scale?
Yeah, that could be.
I question that too.
It's not? Well, you're trying to mess me up? Okay.
It looks like Blanche Avenue is an 80-foot right-of-way. So basically from the center of the, approximate center of that street, it'd be 40 foot to the east where the property line would be.
Okay. And then at the north end of his building, looks like he's got a concrete slab. Is that already looks like it encroaches into that?
According to the aerial photo, yes, but the aerial photo is off, or the lot lines on the aerial photo aren't exact on Beacon.
Okay.
Will this new section, Jeff, line up with your south section? Will
What's
the edge
that?
of- Your edge of your new building, is that gonna line up with your south edge of your building?
No.
No, it's gonna stick out a little past that?
Yep.
Okay. So I guess change his question on the south side, north side, doesn't line up with the north side, or it sticks out past the north side?
It just stick out past the north side too.
Okay, sounds good. More for Ryan and Dan, we had done an adjustment for, I believe, an office on the south side in the
Yep.
alleyway.
Yep.
What was the setback that we had set on that? Was that 5 feet, 10 feet?
From the alley,
What's
Yeah, yeah, in the alley.
it was 5 foot.
5 foot from the alley.
Yeah, that sounds right, I think.
Yeah, that was 5 foot from the alley, and that setback is 25 on that side.
Do we know what the setback is on that north section? Ms. Blanche?
I think I can give you an idea.
North section from the property line there.
So from your building to Blanche on the north side of
Oh, that was, I went right to,
where we could go?
yeah, what I could go.
Okay.
How much space, Jeff, do you lose if you match that up with your north side?
Well, the problem is, I wouldn't build it because I gotta be able to move around with my bars.
Okay, so this is the minimum size that will physically allow you on the inside to do the work.
Yeah,
Front yard
I mean,
Yeah, because
you got
it's
your
too
saw, then you gotta have room on your other side of the saw and room on this side of the saw, and you gotta be able to move the bars around.
This is a question for you gentlemen, the engineers. South on the other side of Fourth Street, that's not open for development anymore, is it? Is that flood zone?
Yes.
Yeah, it is flood zone. There are a number of flood buyout lots there that are deed restricted. The flood zone has changed down there and it's made development a little easier, but most of those are flood buyouts, and so you wouldn't be able to develop in that area regardless of the flood zone.
The reason I'm asking is I'm just looking at the future development of that portion of Blanche Avenue, which looks like it really won't be developed any further than it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any imminent plans to, improve Blanche Avenue or Third Street that runs north or east and west at the north end of that. But, I mean, you never know. I mean, there probably is some potential for redevelopment there. South of Fourth Street is certainly in the 100-year flood zone. And there's areas down there that are regulatory floodway, and those are very hard to develop. North of Fourth Street, all you need to do is elevate, and then you carry flood insurance. So development is definitely possible on that Blanche Avenue corridor.
Okay.
Will there be sidewalks required to be put in along Blanche Avenue at some point as part of our sidewalk project? And if so, how far from the building would that sidewalk be?
With a 5-foot setback, the sidewalk where that addition would be, when we do put sidewalk in there, would be pretty much right up against the building, or within 6 inches of the building.
Okay, and.
But you'd be on the right-of-way side, so you'd have a 5-foot buffer.
Yeah, sorry, you would be, you'd have 5 foot there, sorry. I was thinking of that backwards. So yeah, there'd be 5 foot
Okay.
or more. It's an 80-foot right-of-way, so there's some room to work with there.
And then, Mr. Highland mentioned that he has plans to use the property across the street for parking. That would require an additional conditional use permit, correct? He wants to use that as a parking lot?
I think in the light manufacturing zone, let me look at the uses. I don't think there's be anything that would restrict you from utilizing that area as a parking lot.
Okay,
Now, if you were to build like a parking structure on there, probably, but to just utilize it for, occasional parking of vehicles, there wouldn't be any zoning component to that.
the land across from the facility, that is light manufacturing as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I was just thinking of other times we've had, like the DSU had to get a conditional use permit for a parking lot at the campus.
Right.
I guess a question for the guys on the engineer's office. On page 7 is the overview of the lot. And I see you can see where there's the fence, and then the ditch with the culvert, okay. Then on page 9, Jeff standing there, and I understand that the red line isn't the scale, but where exactly would this building end on page 9? Are we encroaching into the posts? Is it that close to the culvert? Is it? I mean,
Basically, what that red line on page 9 represents would be the west edge of the building,
okay,
or the addition, I should say.
so then the 5 feet would be from the west end of the new building to Blanche, or?
No, to the
culvert?
property line,
To the property line?
yes.
Okay.
Any other questions for the applicant? Is there anyone in the audience that wanted to speak publicly on this one? On appeal number 759?
Mayor Lindsay's not able to be here, he's out of state, but he wanted me to pass along that he doesn't have any concern with this. He'd like to see us, promote and help businesses out when they need to expand. So he wanted me to pass that along. I guess from my perspective and looking at Blanche Avenue, there's no imminent plans on developing that or anything. But I think we also need to keep in mind that it may develop someday, and there may be a street there someday. And 5 feet from a street is awfully close, especially when you're talking the intended setback is 35 feet. So just kind of want to keep those hardships in mind and make sure that we're meeting our hardship requirements. And I think that's my only comment.
Any further questions for the applicant? No? Okay. Then you can take a seat back in the audience, or you can stay there, it doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
We will move into item 2, which is a decision on appeal 759. I'll entertain a motion at any time. And we can have more discussion.
I'll go ahead and share some of my thoughts, which are, I recall when, I don't remember how long ago it was, but we had the small addition on the east side of the building before us, and at that time, I had expressed some concern about, this property has been kind of piecemeal together with various, variance requests, and I totally support business growth, but I also think there needs to be some thought as to, at what point does a particular piece of property no longer adequately serve the needs of the business there? And I think it would be helpful for this body if there was maybe some more long-range strategic planning presented, so that, there are going to be more variance requests such as this come before us in the future. Is this it? I think having the ability to look at, what is this piece of property going to look like down the road? And is there going to be more variance requests coming forth? I struggle with these kind of requests because on the one hand, want to encourage property owners to use their property to the fullest extent of their ability, but I'm struggling with how useful this piece of property is for this business going forward.
If this was granted, it would be a 5-foot setback on the entire property line, not just where the building.
It would just be for the purpose of this addition. So any future building that required a setback from the 35 feet would have to come back.
So that north section, if you wanted to expand that by 15 feet and match what we're looking at here, we would have to come back to the board.
Precisely.
Okay. I guess I'll echo one of my concerns is if we went 5 feet on this one and the entire property, what would prevent us from expanding the entire building to 5 feet off of the property line in all directions, which to me is not feasible for that area. For one section, I'm more open to it, but expanding in there what that lot is capable for the business. And I don't know if you remember last time, I asked the same thing, what's the future looking like? But because of, what is it, the 3-phase energy or the electrical that goes in there, the cost of moving that is one of the reasons that we're expanding here.
Yeah, and that would have involved vacation of the alley. And that was the component that the electric kicked in. Is we have electric lines there and didn't want to vacate that alley, so.
There was no correspondence from adjacent property owners received?
We didn't receive any letters, I didn't receive any phone calls or anything either. Nothing in support or opposition.
Does the engineering staff, or anybody else for that matter, have any recollection as to what our justification for approving the variance on the last request was, as far as, what hardship or what criteria we were meeting with that?
I don't explicitly recall. I believe that it was determined that that was a relatively small addition, and that the alley is not utilized for any traffic or anything. So there wasn't a lot of concern about that 5-foot setback. This property's had a number of variance requests. I don't, honestly, in looking at the building and looking at the aerial photo, it doesn't meet the setback in the front on the 4th Street side. It does meet the setback on the south addition to the west. It looks like it does meet the setback on the east side, but that north addition, that north L shape, that required a variance as well. So this would be the 4th granted variance on this property for buildings. And I don't know, I didn't look up or determine what the factors were for those prior variances, but this would be the 4th one. And I think, you'd mentioned for this body having, the more kind of comprehensive look and a comprehensive plan. I think that's where your hardships kind of help you out is, if if variances are only approved when there's a hardship that exists, it kind of prevents things from, I guess, snowballing, if you will. Because I think what happens is, you know, a variance gets granted for the north L shape, and then you look and go, well, if that one wasn't granted and that one's out that far, what does it hurt to put another addition on? And it becomes this snowball effect, and, you know, and that's more of a general comment, and, but it pertains to this as well.
Jeff, you already said that going 45 feet out to match with the north end of the building would not work, right?
You can't move steel around in there.
Okay. More discussion? Otherwise, I'm gonna ask for a motion and a second just to move forward with the vote. Thank you. Any other discussion?
Just one thing I wanted to correct. Commissioner Wolf had asked earlier about the zoning to the west across Blanche Avenue. I was incorrect. That is actually an R60 zone that Jeff owns. I thought that was all consistently light manufacturing, but it is not. It is an R60 residential.
Thank you. So that would require a permit for a parking lot, or?
Yeah, I would agree. I think in its current state where it's gravel surface, I think Jeff as the owner can probably park his personal vehicles over there. If it's utilized for a parking lot or for his business, then I would say it would be appropriate for that to be approved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We're gonna do a roll call vote, with a yay vote being to approve appeal number 759, a nay vote to deny it. And I don't care what end we start at.
What if I start in the middle?
Oh, okay.
Commissioner Barlow. Commissioner Olson. Commissioner Gross.
No.
Commissioner Wolf.
No.
Commissioner Iverson.
Yes.
Commissioner Olson.
Yes.
And Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
And yours was a yay?
Nay.
Nay, okay.
You got 4-3.
4-3, yes, okay. So the appeal is denied. Thank you for your time, everybody. Appreciate it. Moving on to item 3, which is hearing on appeal number 760. Heather Lee for a conditional use application to run an indoor playground in a central business zone located at 105 South Egan Avenue. The property is legally described as lots 3 and 4 in block 16 of the original plat of the city of Madison, South Dakota. And is Ms. Lee here? Oh, she snuck up on me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Again, would like to hear from the engineering group first, so if you be patient, we'll get back to you. So whichever of you gentlemen want to go ahead with this.
Yeah, Miss Lee is here today. Like I said, John requesting conditional use to permit her to use property at 105 South Egan Avenue to use as an indoor playground. Falls under section 171104, number 2, which includes auditorium, meeting hall, recreational facilities. As of the meeting this morning, we have received nothing in support or opposing this. A little bit of background on what is going to happen is she's planning on using the existing space as an indoor playground, including playground equipment, arcade, and games for a variety of age groups. This would be in the old Anytime Fitness building. Applicant plans to do some minor renovations on the space before moving into it. Any renovations to the property will be subject to going through the building permit process with the Engineering Community Development Office if needed. There are some interior pictures of the space included in the agenda packet. And those are on pages 15. Yeah, basically page 15. Engineering staff has reviewed the application and have no concerns with the approval of this appeal.
Okay. And, morning, Ian.
Good morning.
So can you tell us a little more about what you're looking to do here?
Just put an indoor, like, different age group play areas, safe areas for kids to play for indoor weather when, South Dakota weather decides to be ornery for some of those families. And then a couple's, areas for birthday parties, so, parents can come in and book a birthday party, have birthday parties there. An area for older kids to come do arcade, pool tables, just basic things where kids can come in and, have somewhere to go instead of, nowhere to go. So, like, the little ones would have small, soft play area. The older, like 5 to 12 would have more of a climbing area, it's outdoor, treehouse indoors kind of situation. And then the older kids would have like arcades, video games, somewhere, something just to get out of the weather, get outside, get somewhere to go, so. And then a maker space, 3D printers, laser etchers, different things like that, so kids have something to do, so.
So this isn't a daycare, people are dropping their kids off and you're watching them?
No, the kids would be, anything under 12 would require parents to be there with waivers, so saying that they are, have a kid, the parents would have to be there, so, or somebody of, that would be in charge of them for that time period, so.
The pictures we're seeing is that's the basement, correct?
There's some basement, I did have some basement, I didn't have a lot of upstairs, cause I just have it, didn't, but but the basement I had a couple more, cause I was thinking about different things for the basement, but that's not gonna pan out, so. I didn't have the upstairs, a lot of upstairs pictures, cause I kind of had it in my brain what it looked like, so I didn't have to go in and take more pictures, cause the landlord's out of town, out of country right now, so.
Okay, but the business itself is located upstairs?
Yes.
The kids would be upstairs?
Everybody would be upstairs, on the main level, yes.
Okay, that's a relief.
Yep, no, the basement, it was just different pictures for different things, and, yeah, that would be just all upstairs.
Okay. I was just thinking of a safety point of view.
Yep,
Would the staff park, like, is there parking off the alley for the staff?
there's about one to two cars in the alley to park,
But it would just be more, the most staff would probably be 2 staff at all times, because it's, you know, parents would be there for the kids, so it wouldn't, it just mainly checking people in and stuff. And I need to talk to the fire department, get a, you know, a max amount of occupancy and go from there yet, so I haven't done that, but I will get that.
What hours are you looking at to run?
Probably about 10 a.m. at the earliest start, and then close by about 9, for, you know, what the city, is 10 o'clock for some of those kiddos for age for the, yeah, be closed before that so they get home. So some of those older kids could stay and do the arcades and stuff and then be home in time for curfew.
Further questions? Anybody from the audience wish to speak on appeal number 760? Hearing none, we can move on to the decision on appeal number 760. We'll need a motion.
I move to approve. I'll second.
Further discussion? I think we'll just do roll call votes from now on. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Okay. So
Keep me awake.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Commissioner DeBoer,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wolf,
Yay.
Commissioner Gross.
Yay.
Commissioner Olson,
Yay.
Commissioner Barlow.
Yay.
All right, it's unanimous. Congratulations and good luck with
Thank you.
everything. We'll need a motion to move out of the Board of Adjustment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, indicate with aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. New Business Planning Commission. This is a hearing on appeal number 758, Stephen Peterson, to rezone from R90 single-family residence to R60 duplex resident. The properties are legally described as Track 1 of Peterson addition to the city of Madison, Lake County, South Dakota, Track B and C1 of Windsor Estates, second addition to the city of Madison, Lake County, South Dakota. And do we have the applicants here? Mr. Peterson?
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Well, how are you? Thank you for the time this morning.
Yeah, no problem. Again, we'll have the city engineers lead off on this one and describe what we're looking at with this appeal.
Thank you, John. I'll take this one. So this requested rezone is for 3 separate parcels. It consists of about 4.5 acres. This would change from the R90 single-family residence zone to the R60 duplex residence zone. So this would allow, as a principal permitted use, the development of duplex residential structures like townhomes, twin homes, and it would allow smaller lots to be developed. They would be a minimum of 6,000 square feet, and then there's some reduced setbacks. Whereas the current R90 zoning, your principal permitted uses are limited to single-family residential uses only. Those lots are a little larger. They're 9,000 square foot lots, and the setbacks are a little larger. So as a result of this proposed change, this request would allow a modest, what I would call a modest increase in residential density compared to what's currently permitted under the existing zoning. The area affected by the request is located in a established residential neighborhood. It's primarily developed with single-family homes. It's all that R90 single-family residence that reflects the existing development pattern and the character of that area for a long time. We've received several letters from nearby residents regarding this rezone. Those letters are included in the agenda. Those letters all expressed a desire for the zoning designation to remain unchanged, to remain that R90. We also received a phone call from another property owner who wasn't able to make it today, I don't think. And he also had expressed some opposition to this, preferred that it remain the R90. We did receive several walk-in inquiries and telephone calls regarding the request. Those were mainly informational in nature. None of them clearly indicated support or opposition to the proposal, but we had a couple comments that said, well, this doesn't seem like it will affect me, and it was just more of an information share. So as with all rezone requests, we reviewed this request in relation to the comprehensive land use plan that was adopted in April of 2022. And as you know, the purpose of that plan is to guide responsible growth and development. It's kind of our roadmap for zoning. The future land map within that comprehensive plan identifies this area as appropriate for low-density residential development that would align with that R90 single-family residence. The requested R60 zoning would allow, again, that modest but higher density form of residential development than what's envisioned in the plan. So while the comprehensive plan notes that some circumstances may be appropriate to allow lower densities, it doesn't comment on whether it's appropriate to allow higher density. So it appears as though the plan generally does not support increasing the density in this area. As far as infrastructure considerations, we took a look and haven't identified any significant infrastructure constraints. Certainly not on the utility side. I don't think any development as a result of rezoning to R60 would add so much density that our infrastructure wouldn't support it. And the roadway access to this area is already dead ends, and as development goes, it would probably, create a loop where traffic is able to better exit out. So development of this area would increase the infrastructure for roads. So from a planning perspective, I think our comprehensive land use plan would say that the existing R90 designation would be more consistent with the comprehensive land use plan as well as the existing pattern. But we don't have major concerns about infrastructure considerations or the increase in some modest residential density. Just a reminder, you'd just be simply recommending this rezone. The city commission would then take this up and make the final decision. So this is just a recommendation to the city commission, not an approval per se.
So a recommendation or a non-recommendation? Either way, it's going to the city.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, what more do you have to add to this?
I don't have a lot to add, other than I'm just looking to promote further development. I think that particular development has stalled. Just obviously been sitting idle for a long time. I felt like I had something to offer it, going in and doing the improvements that I did. I think that the current market needs with affordable housing in that area is an opportunity for the city to grow and give some opportunity to homeowners, whatever, to have a place to go.
And do we have questions for the applicant?
So this might have been before my time. The property that connects to Third Street, is that good? Is that a property? Is that gonna be a road?
It hasn't been decided ultimately what that will be. It's just the opportunity to have the access off of Third Street if somebody comes in and decides that. The property came available, it was adjoining to what I had owned, so it just made sense to, and I actually did that a couple other times to make that piece one. I mean, it was kind of a hodgepodge of parcels, so I was, trying to keep it all together, I guess, if you will. So just keeping opportunities and options open.
One of my concerns about having a higher density in there is the only outlet is the airport road. Like, we're just
Right.
funneling
Sure.
everybody
Yep.
out that direction. Okay.
I I guess a question for the engineer's office. It was my understanding when that piece of property on the north of Fifth Street was plotted, that we had talked about, we were gonna put a street south to Third Street North. That's when we put the culvert in. Cause I was of the understanding that street's gonna go north.
Yeah, I know that was mentioned during that, so that was, that plat was created for a future church, hopefully. I think at that time, the drawings that were included, I think, if I recall correctly, and Steve might have to tell me I'm right or wrong, but I think there were two options there. One option went from Fifth Street and then created a road down to Third Street. I think the other option looped Fifth Street around back to Fourth Street and then exited. I could be wrong about that.
I never saw that. I never saw loop the Fourth.
Okay, yeah, and there's been several iterations over the years. I might be mixing things. I know there was an engineering company, either for Stephen or for the prior owner, had done some preliminary drawings showing option of roads going both ways. I think at the time of that plat, it was undetermined exactly where the road would go, and I don't know that there are cemented plans in place right now as to how those lots would lay out. I think the first step is, if this rezone is successful, then he would be able to go back and take a look at the lot layout and the road layout and determine what makes most sense and is economically feasible for that area.
So if this gets changed, Mr. Peterson could build either single family or duplex?
Correct, yep.
But not apartments?
No, so that would be, there's some ability to do some condominiums and things like that as a conditional use in that R60 zone, but then that would have to come back to the board for approval. What this would allow is him to just simply come in with a building permit application to do townhomes or twin homes in addition to single family. Currently, the only thing that can be done as that principal permitted use without a conditional use or something like that is single family homes. And then it would also allow him to plat some smaller lots.
What's the zoning of them, like the Nielsen and the Trojan? What's that?
There's a mix. So both of those have a component that's R90, this single-family residence zone. They also both have a component that's R60. And then in the case of the Trojan Village, there's even a small commercial lot up there. So there's three separate zoning districts within that development.
There it is, okay.
So on page 17, everything that's outlined in blue is currently R90 single family. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And then, is that property to the north, is that outside the city limits, or is that in the city limits?
It's within city limits.
And what is that one? Oh,
Yep, that's cemetery.
oh yeah, okay.
That's single.
Yeah. It is called a rural residential district where the cemetery is.
Any further questions for the applicant? We can come back to them. Looks like we got a few audience members that might want to speak. Thank you for your time. Jennifer, do you have a list? No. Well, I have this.
Names, but I did not ask for those who wanted to speak. I apologize.
Oh, okay. So how many people want to speak? One? Nick?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Two, three? Okay, so I'm just gonna start on this side. You didn't want to speak, sir? Okay, are you supporting him? Okay, gotcha. So we'll start at the far right behind Jennifer, and we'll just work up and down the rows, so. Did you want to speak?
No, I'll pass.
Okay, Nick, you're up. Please state your name
Nick Bird.
and
I
what's your
live in,
relation to this subject.
I live within the, I guess, the community out there, that estate. I will say that by no means am I opposed to those lots getting developed or anything along those lines, but my recommendation would keep it to R90, just for the purposes of that's primarily, you looked at the sheet. All those properties out there remain R90 currently. I purchased my house, I guess, I think it was 2017, and one reason why I did that was it was a one-way in, one-way out. And I've got a couple small children, there's a lot of families in that neighborhood, and, you know, to be honest with you, they have a lot of fun. They run across the street, hopefully looking left and right, but they have a lot of fun each and every day. I feel like if we're bringing in the townhomes, there's gonna be more traffic. There currently is no way out besides the airport road. We kind of hit on that earlier. I think that's a safety for many people, not just children, but it's not as populated as many would think, but there's a lot more vehicles that go in and out of there than what a normal person would imagine. So a concern of mine, there's a lot of lots there, and if you start bringing them down into R60s, it's going to expand it. There's going to be more of those lots, and therefore you're talking in some cases, 4 cars per lot. And at this point, I don't think the facility or the infrastructure is made and can support it, just in the aspect of the exits. So my recommendation, my hope would be to deny this request, but if you have any questions, I'd definitely entertain them. Otherwise, I'll go back to my seat.
So if they did a road from Third Street going north, would that help that situation?
I mean, in my opinion, that would help it, but I do believe that how it would be set up, I think there would need some drastic infrastructure to get it complete. So
What's your address, Nick?
it's 1431 Northeast 4th Street. I'm the third house when you pull off the airport on the left-hand side. So I kind of get the traffic that's coming down from the north and from the left or the east and the west. So that's where my property is.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll go second row on the inside here. Yep, you'll be next.
My name's John Nelson. I live in I'm on Northeast Third Street. I live in the property, my property is the property adjoining on the west side of that narrow strip that runs down to Third Street. And I would like to voice my opposition to the change. I do think it's a good idea to continue to develop that area. It's a prime spot. I'm concerned primarily about the traffic. I have no idea what of course, if there's a road that runs adjacent to my property on the east side, that's going to make a dramatic change in the nature of my property. And so I might not be able to stop that, but it would make a significant change in that. I do think if that property is not developed as a road, all that traffic has been, as it's been mentioned, that's all going to go around to the airport road, and then people coming to town are all going to be traveling past my place and all the houses along Third Street. There is no sidewalk that comes from the airport road into town. So anyone that seeks to simply walk or ride their bicycle, they've got to be on that, on Third Street, where there's not a lot of room to walk or ride a bicycle. I do think that I appreciate the commission being careful and thoughtful. I've seen that already this morning about their decisions, and I think that continuing the attention to the desire for these larger lots and the single-family homes is a good idea. I don't think it's like the up there in the cyber estates where there's all those townhomes up there on the way on the north end of town. That's a little different kind of a situation. This is more within the city where there's already established houses, and I think it would make quite a difference in the people that live in these communities. So I hope that you'll act against this motion to have these zoned from R90 to R60.
Questions? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Yep. Second row, anybody else? No? Okay. Third row, we'll start at that end.
Hi, I'm Janice Daling. I live at 1420 Northeast 4th Street. Our letter is in the packet that you guys received, and I just want to reiterate what the previous gentleman has said. We definitely buy in an R90 neighborhood because that's where we'd like our community to be, what the character of our community is. You don't ever buy and think, oh, let's hope somebody changes this to R60 so we can have more traffic and duplexes and things. So definitely, to me, it would be a disruption to our community's character, to the neighborhood. I guess because we're all R90 and we go out and we visit and we know each other, and it's a community. When you get into some more housing that's multifamily, you lose some of that at times, and turnover is greater, and we've just had a pretty consistent community of people that look out for each other, the safety. I mean, it's just a good place to live right now, and we'd like to keep it that way. If the road comes through from Third, we're a little concerned about the additional traffic that it could bring, people cutting in that way to do it. There are a lot of kids on our street. You know, we look out for them, we help them. Even though they're not your kids, they're your kids. That's the kind of neighborhood we have, and we'd like to keep it that way. Currently in Madison, there are areas already zoned R60, and so it doesn't appear to be a shortage of that. To change this now at this time, I don't see a reason to do that. There is a master plan for a reason, and I think the forethought that has been put into that is a good thing at keeping that at R90 and as it's currently zoned. And I guess I hope that you recommend not to approve this change, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Anybody else in row 3 on this side? No? How about row 3 on this side? No? Okay, row 4 on this side? Morning.
Morning. My name's Richard Beekler. I live on the last lot on the south side of Third Street on 1333 Northeast 4th. As far as we moved to this town specifically into that home because it is a dead-end road. I grew up on a dead-end road. My wife grew up on a dead-end road. That's where we wanted to start our family, and seeing all the other children and everything on the street is very joyful and makes us feel happy and makes us feel safe. Moving forward, moving from an R90 to an R60 is gonna bring in that traffic. And the kids all play in the street, they play up and down in each other's houses and everything. So impeding their ability to grow and be children and actually bring back that latchkey style family is important to me. Hope that kind of helps, but that's all I got.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else in row 3? Or I guess that's row 4.
I guess I'm Kenny Clements. I live at 1347 Northeast 4th Street.
Okay.
And I just want it to stay as a single dwelling. Like I say, it's a small neighborhood that we all get along. I don't know how your roads are gonna work out, but we do fear the traffic of either just the loop, you know, kids maybe in the future driving out that way and coming back around. And and how the roads work out, I'm not sure, or the baseball field, are we gonna get the overflow of when there are baseball games of people starting to park, you know, flowing up to the north, up into our neighborhood for easier parking, and so I guess I just would like it to stay as an R90, single dwelling neighborhood, instead of getting more traffic out there.
Thank you. Let's see, row 4, is there, yeah, anybody else in row 4? How about the back row? Okay, oh, yep, we do have one.
Morning. My name is Tanner Engbrecht. I live at 1401 Northeast 4th Street. Been there since 2019. Would just like to reiterate my opposition as well. Due to having kids up in that area, like they mentioned, a lot of them like to kind of bounce from house to house in that area, and would like to keep it that way as much as possible for safety of not only my family, but theirs as well.
Thank you. Anyone else that I missed back there? Okay, I'll give you guys a chance to, well, did you want to speak first, or?
I do after that later.
Well, I mean, are you with Mr. Peterson? Yes. Okay, so I'll give you guys a chance to respond to all these concerns if you want to come on up.
Lee Skilling, Brandon, South Dakota. I'm impressed with your city hall here. We're in the process in Brandon of trying to do a new city hall. So when I met with Ryan, I was just to compliment you how you're bringing two things together. We want to do the same thing in Brandon. But I'm the real estate agent for Stephen. I've had it listed and tried to get some feedback. I visited with Nielsen Construction. You know, obviously that's your leader here for single family. Obviously their focus is a little bit different, you know, outside of the town. I visited with Dan Lemmy a little bit about this. He said, well, I lived in that neighborhood in the late 70s when that development started. And it's struggled to move forward. As you can see, there's not a lot. And the other thing that nobody's really talked about is that the sewer is 5 foot, a little over 5 foot on the end of 4th Street. So that is a little bit of a challenge to try to continue to make that a single-family house that's just like next door on the other houses that some of the neighbors have talked about. The other thing that, when I was reading through the comments that we got here today, it seems like there's a lot of misunderstanding. This is not an apartment multifamily request. It's still a single family, like Ryan said, to take, basically all we're doing is moving setbacks, that you don't have to, you know, you can have more, a little bit more density, but there's still a single family dwelling. Just similar to like you did here, take two agencies and put them together and have one front door, basically. So, and there was never been any discussion from the neighbors of the proposed church that's there. I think that would, in other communities you talked about, you know, where you have a single family to a buffer zone to a church development. And I think this would fit that very well.
Did you have any comments on, like, I mean, there was a lot of comments from the public about traffic flow and how would you propose to mitigate that?
Well, there is a drawing that Ryan referenced from a Sayre engineer that has 4th looping around and coming to 5th like a horseshoe. So just imagine 4th and 5th would connect that way. I'm not sure that 3rd Avenue, when you look at that on this drawing here to see how wide a street is, if there's room for a full-blown street, you know, where Third meets, without, you know, doing some engineering and that kind of thing on setbacks. I don't know enough about that, I guess, to see if we have to have a 66-foot street and setbacks on the outside of that. Is that lot wide enough? As I was looking here, it appears to be 75-foot frontage on Third. And maybe Ryan can, I don't know, you know, I don't know enough about that.
Our local residential streets are typically an 80-foot right-of-way or a 66-foot right-of-way with the street from back of curb to back of curb, 37 feet. So there'd be room for a street there. It is narrow, on the narrow side, but you could certainly make that work. As far as the lot layout, I mean, there's challenges to both. There's challenges to looping that around and making that horseshoe, and I think that's kind of what they're after today, is to determine this first step. If it needs to stay the R90, then I think the road layout is different than if it's, you know, a multifamily. I think that this R60 is kind of middle ground there. It does increase that density, and, you know, like we talked, the comprehensive land use plan just kind of supports it staying R90. As far as the road infrastructure and the dead ends, I mean, we don't want to see dead ends remain there. We want to see this develop and become, you know, profitable for Stephen as far as the development goes, but then also to serve the traffic flow better. There's quite frankly nothing worse than these dead ends, but how they achieve that, if it's 5th to 4th or 5th to 3rd or what have you, I'm not sure that it changes a whole lot from going to R90 to R60. Because it'd still be your typical local street. I mean, this wouldn't be anything that would be so much more density that you'd call it a collector or an arterial, where you have to have, you know, increased roadway or increased right-of-way width. This all fits into that residential look and feel.
Did the audience have any follow-up questions for the applicant after hearing anything?
What was that question?
Do you have any follow-up questions for the applicant now that he's kind of addressed a few things?
I guess my question would be primarily what's going to happen with that narrow parcel that goes down to Third Street. For me, that's a significant question.
Okay. So, Ryan, do you have any hypotheticals on that? Like, that's probably
guess
gonna
that's-
become a road?
That would be up to
Is that
the
up to the-
developer. Yeah, 100% up to the developer on
Okay, all right.
how they want to do that. And whether a change from an R90 to an R60 says now the road goes to Third Street, I don't think that's the case at all. It just, this change would determine how many lots they have, and, but if it stayed R90, it could very well go down to, from 5th Street to Third Street with a road. If it changed to R60, the same thing could happen. I don't think it really hinges on that. But it would be up to the developer completely.
Yes.
I got another question. You mentioned the church deal. Has that been approved then, or is this just hypothetically speaking of the church?
Like, just hypothetical, right? I mean, does
Correct,
that
yeah.
thing
The plat, when that was replatted north of Fifth Street, that's what was shared as a potential use in the future, but there's not been any conditional use granted for construction of
Right,
that.
that's 5 years in the works? Is that what you said? How long ago was that?
Oh, I think that was pretty close to 4 or 5 years ago, I think, when we replatted that.
Okay. Does that answer your question? Anyone else?
So if there isn't another entryway or exit to Third Street, you know, I don't think looping 4th and 5th together helps alleviate any traffic. It honestly would just create more. So I guess I don't understand why we would loop them together. And then again, the exit from 4th to the airport road is the only way in or out of that section right now. So you
Do you have any response to that?
Well, yeah, obviously, this is unique in that there's 3 parcels that come to it, you know, it's all you know, how do you determine where that street's gonna go and layout? We'd have to come back, I think, at a future, you know.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yep.
I'll say one more thing. I've lived on that, street, on Third Street for, about 20 years. And one of the things that you see as you live there, the traffic that comes by there is coming in from the east side. And a lot of times those people, fail to, adhere to the speed limit as they come into that area. Airport Road, at the Airport Road is 30 miles an hour, and they do not slow down until they get down into Division. A lot of times, they come barreling through there, past the park, past all those residential houses, and as we talk about the increased traffic, that's gonna face that, all that traffic that's coming in from the east.
Thank you.
The factories and stuff that are out there, and people changing shifts, and, yeah, it gets very busy sometimes there.
I've lived on Northeast Third, 1208 Northeast Third for 47 years. They accelerate from Division and go east. So it's not just coming into Madison, they're booking it when they go in front of my house. And we have sidewalk, but it's on the park side.
And there's no curb there.
Yeah,
No curb.
It's connected to the road. I know, I had kids in middle school and I wouldn't even let them walk on that sidewalk. I made them walk in the grass because it's so close to the road.
Yeah,
And that sidewalk does not extend out to the airport road.
no.
Any other questions?
I was of the opinion, when I was on this commission, when that land on Fifth was plotted, we were concerned, because we had people from Cambridge that was concerned about the traffic going to Fifth Street and dead end, and the whole issue was traffic and the whole thing. I was of the opinion that if that's developed on Fifth, that street was gonna go to Third. I mean, that's for safety, no loop to Fourth, it was gonna go Fifth to Third. That's what I saw in a drawing. And now I'm hearing, well, it may not be there. In my opinion, circulating at the Fourth is, you're not solving anything, you're just making traffic go around, that's all. In the future, and we've studied this for 4 months in the 2022 Comprehensive Land Use Plan, and finally, when the Planning Commission studied every section of Madison for 4 months in detail, that's when we brought it before the City Commission and they adopted the long-range plan. My question is, I don't have it in front of me, in the future growth of Madison, is Fifth Street gonna would that be a possibility to go west to Fifth? Because I live on
West.
Northeast Third, I was told Fourth Street will never go west, but Fifth would be the one to go west.
Like all the way to Division?
All the way to Division.
It would take all of those property owners there to get together. I think you have 4 property owners along there. Some of them might be interested in development, some may not. It would take all 4 of them to coordinate on that, to get that right of way through there. Who knows? It's,
Right, but I was told by Bill Heyer and Chad
Yeah.
Comus,
Yep.
there's no plans for Fourth to go west. It would be 1 block north, Fifth would be the one. That's what I was told.
The original development plan for Windsor Estates showed them both going all the way over to Antelope Avenue. But like I said, there've been many plans, so over 20 years, I don't think I'm exaggerating, we've probably seen 25 different versions of this area being developed 25 different ways.
Right now, the only way is Airport Road and going on Fourth. That's the only entrance to the whole neighborhood.
Yeah, and unless the property owner that owns that land directly to the west of what Mr. Peterson owns, it's not gonna go anywhere.
Right.
Thank you, Lee.
And so the challenge for Stephen is if he wants to develop this area and the property owner to the west says, well, we don't have interest in Fifth Street going through our property or Fourth Street going through our property, then he has to accommodate for the traffic. Because there's not an option for him to bring Fifth Street over and then put a cul-de-sac at the end of it, and Fourth Street over and put a cul-de-sac, and then just send traffic back out to Airport Road. That would far exceed the maximum length you have for a fire apparatus. And our subdivision regulations would not allow him to do that. So one way or the other, he's going to have to loop those streets, either Fifth to Fourth or Fifth to Third Street to meet our subdivision regulations. So one way or the other, no matter how this is developed and whether it's a church or single-family dwellings or twin homes, there'll have to be some plan someday to get a second exit out of there, off Fifth Street.
Okay. At this point, we're gonna close the public portion of the hearing. And we'll move into a decision on appeal number 758. We'll need a motion and a second to move forward, and remember, this is a recommendation, but we still need either a yes vote to recommend it or a nay vote to not recommend it.
I move that we recommend to the city commission that we keep the zoning at R90 consistent with the comprehensive use plan of 2022.
Okay, so the way he worded that is to not recommend. So a yay vote would be to not recommend, and a nay vote would be to recommend. Is that right?
That's how I heard it.
Okay,
I'm recommending that we keep it the same.
yeah, yep. Okay, and then is there any other discussion? No. Okay, we can go ahead and take a roll call vote on this.
Commissioner Gross,
No, yes. I already got mixed up.
Commissioner Olson,
Aye.
Commissioner Barlow,
Yes, to keep the original plan.
Commissioner DeBoer,
Yes.
Commissioner Olson,
Yes.
Commissioner Iverson.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Appreciate it. When will the city commission take this up?
Monday.
Monday? So, Monday.
Sorry, Travis. I keep
All right.
forgetting there's two Olsons.